Johnson, good pass underneath, and the finish by Angel Reese, and she'll be going to the line.
Well done, Joss below. Angel Reese's final touch. She is going to the queue as well. Angel Reese left Chicago for more than that. As she departed, music and the league as a whole changed instantly. One of the best rebounders in the league and a two-time All-Star was traded for what appears to be a rebuild package. Not current talent, but future choices. No bargaining struggle, no big comeback, just a quick decision music that was carried out even quicker. Then something much odd took place. Chicago ceased acting like a franchise music that people avoided as soon as she left. In a matter of days, elite veterans and top talent began signing without hesitation. Dejounte Carrington, Azura Stevens, Racuna Williams, and Skylar Diggins. Names flood a reconstruction rather than trickling in. Therefore, the true question isn't what Chicago gave up, but rather what everyone thought of Chicago when Angel Reese left. An Angel Reese performance fell short. On paper, Angel Reese's figures seem like the cornerstone of something truly remarkable. Middle Tennessee scored 14 points every game, transition defense, and they will aim to score fast in transition if they can get stops. Is greater than, well done, Joss, below. Angel Reese's final touch. 64 career games and about 13 rebounds per game. She was selected as an All-Star twice in her first 2 seasons. As a rookie, she had a record-breaking run of consecutive double-doubles that led her comparisons to some of the greatest bigs in league history.
Reese picks it off. It's her against no one and lays it in. She's got 12 points.
During her 2 seasons in Chicago, she averaged 13.1 rebounds per game as a rookie and 12.6 inches her second season, leading the entire WNBA in rebounding. You would assume Chicago had a franchise cornerstone if you just looked at the stat sheet, music. You would expect the victories to come. Never did they. In Reese's debut season, the Chicago Sky went 13 music and 27. Turn, spin, square up, and it's fantastic for Tori, while Reese is on the block and attacking Alexander. After that, they played 10 and 34 music in her second. That is not a decline in reconstruction. Hold on, that isn't a young team getting established. With the same focal point all along, that franchise is headed in the wrong direction. 23 victories and 61 defeats over 2 seasons. No playoff appearances, no significant advancement of any type. As the team's star player, she scored a total of 23 and 61, which is a mere 27% winning percentage. Additionally, Reese gets the rebounding figures. She lays it in and is against everyone. 12 points for her. They deserve more attention because they broke Sylvia Fowles' single-season music record and were featured in every highlight package. Because grabbing her own missed jumpers accounted for almost 35% of Reese's music offensive rebounds in her freshman season, or 53 out of 150.
And Hollywood's on the move. Angel Reese, offensive rebound, gets it to drop.
For a player who spends most of her time in the paint, her rookie shooting percentage was 39.1% from music the field and less than 50% on shots within 3 feet of the basket. She would miss a layup, catch her own miss again, and occasionally get that one as well. On the stat sheet, each of those grabbacks had the same value as grabbing a contested defensive rebound against a physical, music post player. She pulled down 4 offensive rebounds in a single possession against the New York Liberty in 2025, although she never music scored. 5 of her 7 rebounds came off her own missed layups, and she finished the game 0 for 5 from the field in the first quarter. The truth was revealed by her efficiency, 42.1% for career field goals. And Hollywood is changing. With an effective field goal percentage of 42.6% and a 3-point shooting percentage music of 18.4%, Angel Reese's offensive rebound gets it to drop. In 2025, her turnover rate skyrocketed music to 22.9% from 13.1% as a rookie, averaging 4 turnovers per game, the second worst in the league, behind only Caitlin Clark. However, Clark had a winning offensive scheme. Reese's mistakes only resulted in fewer possessions for a club that was already having trouble scoring. They noticed it at the front desk. Coach Tyler Marsh noticed it. It was seen by the teammates. Without improving the lives of those around her, Reese's contributions were improving her stat sheet. And in a team sport, a franchise is trapped by that type of productivity.
Reese is a very good passer out of the post. You're going to get better looks if you get her touches.
Williams can't finish. Reese does.
4 seconds to shoot here. Lloyd has to hurry. Sloop poaches the passing lane, goes up and puts it in.
If someone appears to be an all-star on paper, you cannot trade them without providing an explanation. Furthermore, a person whose influence does not result in victory cannot be the foundation of a successful team. Reese is an excellent post-pass passer. If you receive her touches, they'll look better. Williams is unable to finish. Yes, Reese. For 2 whole years, Chicago was trapped in that paradox, music. It were, but even while the on-court events were detrimental, music wasn't the one that ultimately caused things to fall apart. Because the true tale of Angel Reese in Chicago was never about rebounding totals or shooting percentages, music. It concerned what was going on in the room where no one was looking. The room where the damage was silent, cumulative, and finally unfixable. Angel Reese room, where Courtney Vandersloot had worked for years in Chicago to advance her career. Music. There, she was a champion. In that locker room, she was well-deserved. As a 2-time WNBA champion, Vandersloot is the kind of player who teammates will stop at nothing to support. Shooting here takes 4 seconds. Lloyd needs to hurry. Sloot goes up and inserts the passing lane after coaching it. 5-time All-Star and 2-time All-WNBA first-team selection, he departed the championship-caliber New York Liberty to return and aid in the Sky's reconstruction. Reese allegedly called Vandersloot old and washed up after she was injured. Not in a secret discussion where music remained silent, but in a manner that quickly reached the crew. That landed really well. As you may guess, Reese went on the record to tell reporters that the squad needed a younger musician with experience, someone who was willing to compete for a title and had done it previously, because they could not rely on Courtney to return at her age. When you take into account music, that Vandersloot is among the most successful winners in WNBA history, and Reese has never participated in a music single playoff game, the absurdity of that remark is nearly intolerable. Not even one. After that, Camila Cardoso left. Not a minor quarrel, not a stressful ritual that was eventually resolved. A complete walkout in a Reese-related team scenario. Cardoso, a 7-foot center from South Carolina, is the man Chicago was actually developing around because they believed he represented the team's future. Additionally, there is the ongoing Atlanta Dream game. Cardoso pushes through the door. That's encouraging for the player on whom the entire system was built. She eventually reached a point where she was unwilling to stay in the room. That speaks volumes about how poisonous the surroundings had become. Cardoso lacks dramatic flair. Scenes are not something she makes. She only plays hoops. If she left, the matter would have escalated from quiet management to a threat to the organization as a whole. Late in the 2025 music season, a game nicely encapsulated it. Television cameras captured Cardoso physically approaching the New York Liberty's bench, as if she wanted to sit down music with them instead, and clearly giving up during play. It was a player's body language that indicated they were going low. The double is on its way. Cardoso, the Reese, was found. Reese's layup, who had mentally distanced herself from her own squad, and everyone on the internet witnessed it in real time. Next was the suspension.
Chicago leads the league in fouls per game. DeShields on a 3.
Reese was suspended by Chicago, and teams struggle to get there. When the front desk has previously attempted the more subdued choices, chats, warnings, and interventions, the result is a suspension. Nothing stuck. When a team suspends a player, their patience for handling the matter has run out. Reese missed the Sky's last 4 games due to a back ailment, the team punishment, and a separate league suspension music for accruing too many technical fouls. Subsequently, her teammates released Song. They dubbed her a cancer of the locker room. In professional athletics, that term does not appear in music unless the harm was severe and profound. A. since by default, players defend one another. Chicago leads the league in fouls per game. Therefore, when they violate that code and go on record, it indicates that the circumstances had an impact on their performance. 3 for DeShields. How they felt each day when they entered that building, music, and how they prepared. One commentator described an article published by Yahoo Sports as not holding back at all. She was apparently intolerable to the organization, music. The absence of Angel Reese was causing the locker room to backflips. Reese's interview with the Chicago Tribune towards the end of the 2025 season added fuel, music, to a building that was already on fire. "I am not settling for the same stuff we did this music year," she told me. "We have to get good players. We have to get great players. That is a non-negotiable for me." Although she later expressed regret, the harm had already been done. Her front office, coaching staff, and then her own teammates had all been publicly criticized by her. She chastised herself for losing the very people with whom she wanted to reestablish trust, music. As a result, the front desk could witness both music events occurring simultaneously as the locker room was silently collapsing and the win totals were falling. The team said that Reese was a problem. The stat sheet stated that she was producing, and ultimately, Chicago's front office determined that those two truths could no longer coexist: music. On April 6, Music 2026, the Chicago Sky officially announced the start of WNBA free agency. The Atlanta Dream was trading Angel Reese for 2 upcoming first-round draft selections. Angel Reese moving the ball up the floor is another example of what we'll witness up here. Finish and paint is greater than 20, is greater than 2 first-round selections in 2027 and 2028, along with a 2028 second-round trade. In a well-crafted statement, Emma General Manager Jeff Palioka described music as a move intended to create roster balance that represented a wonderful opportunity for all stakeholders. Music. Roster equilibrium. We needed her gone, and this was the quickest way to do it. So that's front office jargon. For years, Skylar Diggins had been coveted by Chicago's general manager. In 2024, during his first offseason as general manager, he attempted to sign her back music, but was unsuccessful. He was clear about the type of roster he wanted to assemble. With the given circumstances, he was simply unable to construct it. It was not the end of the trade. It was the elimination of a barrier that had been obstructing everything else. Before her 3rd season, no player of Reese's purported caliber is traded for future picks, is greater than, music is greater than, unless the trading team determines that the picks are worth more than she is at the moment. And for the music market value of a 2-time All-Star to say that about itself is terrible. When a team unwillingly trades a star due to financial constraints, fit issues, or other uncontrollable circumstances, they spend months shopping that player. In exchange, they demand an item that has been verified. They ensure that the entire value is obtained. Music in Chicago did none of that. The Sky accepted Atlanta's draft capital, which won't be used on a court for years, without hesitation. She will also be boxing out and protecting Reese. Carter has returned to the rack. Following the deal, Reese went on the record to express to the Chicago Tribune her exact musical feelings regarding her time spent with the Sky. "I am not settling for the same stuff we did this music year," she told me. After hearing the statement, "We have to get good players, great players. That is a non-negotiable for me," the team silently began compiling their own list of requirements after suffering 2 years of defeats. It turned out that getting rid of her was a non-negotiable. And then something happened that, for fans of Angel Reese, made music the entire situation nearly unbearable to watch. Reese posted photos of herself sporting a new hairstyle and embracing the Atlanta attitude on social media to welcome her new chapter. But an unnamed source close to the Chicago organization told reporters Music that the move had significantly relieved the locker room. The perception of Chicago was that it was an undesirable place to visit for 2 whole years. For precisely the duration that Reese was a member of the team, that story was told. The moment she left, the relief was both strategic and emotional. The calls that the front desk Music had been longing to make for months were now possible. Reese's number 5 jersey was given to Ricuna Williams by the Sky. Music simply handed it over. One of the funniest things to happen in this whole situation is that Reese's fans went crazy online right away, demanding that the number be retired. This is because jersey retirements are reserved for players who have given their teams music, championships, deep playoff runs, or something worth preserving. They dumped music, 13 and 27, onto Reese's squads. Reese bodies inside, giving Angel Reese an easy finish. 10, then 34. Music, nothing is worth retiring to. Reese's song was not simply moved on by the Sky. They changed her number, her identity, and the whole storyline surrounding their franchise. Additionally, they completed it so quickly that there was no changeover at all. It had an exorcism-like quality. The makeover of Chicago overnight. It was nearly unpleasant how quickly things happened after that. After moving Reese, the Sky signed Skylar Diggins to a $1.86 million 2-year contract within a week. 90 miles outside Chicago, in South Bend, Indiana, Diggins was raised. She earned Olympic gold at the 2020 Tokyo Games, attended Notre Dame, led the Fighting Irish to 2 NCAA championships, and was selected to the All-WNBA 6 times. One of the best point guards in league music history, she chose Chicago. Diggins is the type of player that raises everyone around her, according to head coach Tyler Marsh, who then added something that seemed targeted. Skylar has been around this league a long time to know the fake from the real. There is a reason she wanted to be here. Then Azura Stevens returned to her home. After winning a championship with Chicago in 2021, Stevens has lived in Los Angeles for the past 3 years. Stevens, 3 seconds remain. The fall-away, I understand. Great. She finished second in the voting for Most Improved Player and averaged a career-high 12.8 points and 8 rebounds. She agreed to a 3-year contract worth $1 million a year. "And I am truly excited to be coming home," she stated. Dejounte Carrington said, "This city means everything to me." He committed to a 1-year contract. In 2024, Carrington was named First Team All-Defensive and Most Improved Player. His two-way versatility in music makes opposing coaches restless. People in the league were startled when the Sky acquired Ricuna Williams from the Sparks without having to give up a first-round choice. One of the most exciting young offensive players in basketball, Jackson received votes for MVP in 2025. J.C. Sheldon, the 5th overall pick from Washington in the Music 2024 draft, was also acquired by them. On draft night, they selected Gabriela Jaquez of UCLA with the 5th overall pick, after resigning Courtney Vandersloot and Music Rachel Banham. After selecting Gabriela Jaquez of UCLA with the 5th pick in the WNBA draft, the Chicago Sky moved from having the worst 2-year record in the league to having a roster that many observers predicted would make the playoffs in just 10 days. It felt less like a rebuild and more like a franchise that had been holding its breath for 2 music years before finally letting go because of how drastic, thorough, and quick the transition was. Diggins gets the point across. The perimeter was locked down by Carrington. The floor was stretched by Stevens. Jackson scores in ways that allow others to score. Cardoso is in the center. The Cardoso. Cardoso doesn't stop rolling. The first of the 10 of the Sky. Diggins, Sheldon, Carrington, Jackson, and Cardoso formed the starting 5, which is based on defense, adaptability, and players that improve those around them. If you are paying attention, the last detail is the one that cuts the deepest. Reese was not simply replaced by 4 players from Chicago, who together outperform her. They replaced her with players who were all of a sudden eager to attend. For 2 years, there were players who would not even consider playing in Chicago. The moment the locker room changed, the phone began ringing. That is not an accident. That is a verdict. And Reese, who was watching all of this from Atlanta, was still unable to relate to Chicago's success as a free agent. Shortly after her departure, she discussed her personal involvement in Chicago's prior free agency setbacks. Even though she didn't see it, the rest of the league did. During Music, her first press conference, Diggins herself made an insightful statement. "I looked into the direction of the Chicago Sky, talked to Tyler, talked to Jeff. I thought this was going to be a great fit for me knowing the vision before a lot of people knew it. She was aware of the idea. Chicago had been preparing this change for some time, as she was aware of it before it was made public. All they had to do was get past the barrier. Reese Atlanta roster doubts music. Atlanta described Reese as a dynamic artist whose competitiveness aligned with their vision and a perfect fit. The roster appears intriguing on paper, and head coach Carl Smesko stated that her energy, toughness, and intuition would flourish in their system. In 2025, Ryan Howard came in fourth, music, in the MVP voting. Alicia Gray is among the league's top two-way wings. Tahina Paupau makes the argument. When you narrow your eyes, music appears to be a contender. However, this is what transpired at the opening of free agency. What transpired in Chicago was heard by players throughout the WNBA. Agents spoke with other agents. Gamers sent each other texts. As word spread throughout the league, as it often does, some players made the decision that they would prefer to sign with a team that is centered around Reese rather than go somewhere else. Reputations in the locker room operate in this way. There isn't a formal announcement or press release from music. Instead, there is a quiet agreement that everyone is aware of, and no one, music, speaks out about it until it's too late. Days after the Reese deal was completed, Brittany Griner, a vital member of Atlanta's 2025 roster, departed for the Connecticut Sunday. She is one of the most decorated large women music in basketball history, a two-time champion, a league MVP, and she decided she would prefer to go somewhere else after looking at the incoming squad. For a moment, let that settle. Money, a change in coaching, or a family circumstance were not the reasons Griner left. She left due to roster direction, and the arrival of Angel Reese was the biggest change in roster music direction. According to reports, Reese became enraged when she saw that free agents were not eager to move to Atlanta with her. Why players weren't lining up was what she wanted to know. The solution was in front of her the entire time, which makes that query alone revealing. In the meantime, Atlanta is in this predicament as of 2026. After finishing 30 and 14 inches the 2025 regular season and earning the top seed in the East, they were defeated by the Indiana Fever in the opening round. Not to a fully stocked Music Fever team, but to a short-staffed Fever team that was playing without Caitlin Clark. Is greater than Clark? You get fantastic pace and great passes. I had a great time in Boston. Significant portions of their healthy roster, but they were eliminated anyway. Kelsey Mitchell participated, as did Aaliyah Boston. No, but Indiana defeated Atlanta despite being understaffed. Thus, the roster numbers are not encouraging. Reese, a player who has never participated in a postseason game, took the place of Griner, a two-time champion and league MVP, and Atlanta's 2026 squad is essentially the same team music that lost that series. A player with 2 rings and a trophy case full of hardware was exchanged for a player whose teams went 13 and 27, then 10 and 34. They are referring to this as an improvement. Now, look at what Indiana has to offer. The Fever had the poorest record in the league when Caitlin Clark joined, but in her first season, she led them to the playoffs. Clark's music impact on a defense extends beyond her individual goals. From 30 feet out, she drags defenders out of position, allowing Boston to work in the post without a double team. She also allows Sophie Cunningham to grab the ball in space on the perimeter, offers Mitchell running room during transition, and allows Shue. When Clark is in charge, the entire offensive functions differently. Indiana already had the foundation, so an off-season makeover was not necessary. All they needed was another year of playing games together, another year of Clark becoming familiar with the league, and the league's inability to understand her. Reese kept Chicago in reconstruction mode for 2 years, giving the Fever music 2 more years to develop something that Atlanta and Chicago are only now beginning to catch up to. The disparity is not getting smaller. Atlanta is unable to fill its roster. Stars are being signed by Chicago. The player who is in charge of both issues is sitting in a new city and wondering why no one is picking up the phone. When Caitlin Clark joined Indiana, the Fever had the poorest record in the league. She worked with her teammates, not against them, to turn them into playoff winners in a single season. She improved the players who were around her. She attracted more free agents to the team. She made travel to Indiana possible. That is what separates a star on the stat sheet from a guy who can change a franchise. And the gap between those two careers is not getting smaller. It is getting wider with each offseason. However, despite the rebuilding of the roster and the reset of the narrative, one question remains, looming over the league like an unread verdict. Because franchises don't instantly change. A single transaction does not cause cultures to change. Furthermore, once a person's reputation is established in a locker room, it tends to stick with them long after the headlines have passed. Perhaps Chicago has progressed. It's possible Atlanta moved on. However, the tension that caused all of this hasn't really been resolved. They just redistributed it. The actual test now starts. Was this the start of a plot that won't make sense until both teams play each other again under duress with everything on the line? Or was it a clean break that allowed two teams to develop in opposing directions? When that time comes, will we fully comprehend what Chicago music observed that prompted them to make a complete overhaul, and what the rest of the league is still attempting to keep quiet?